Good.
Right?
Yeah.
Hey guys, we're in Colusa, California, here with Larry Fleet, doing a little show tonight. It's hot, so we've got these nice tents provided by the venue. But we're going to give you a little rig rundown. Danny behind the camera is going to talk about mics. I'm going to talk about drums. Hopefully I can get through it without stuttering. On the left, we're going to start over here with the BC2 Porter and Davies. And that powers this throne right here. Gives us a little kick that we can actually feel during the show, which is nice. And then we're going to move over here, and we've just got this little $90 Mackie mixer that we're getting from, we're getting a stereo feed from our monitor engineer, Tessa Wallace. Sounds real good. And then right here we've got the Roland SPDSX. All we're doing with that is triggering two sub drops. The one on the left is a short sub drop, and the one on the right is a long one, and that's it. On the floor, we've got, we're running Click with an iPad. So this is made by Coda Music, and this connects Bluetooth to our iPad, which isn't up here. But we can start and stop with the right switch and go to the next song with the left, and then just talk back, hold the talk switch. And then if we come up for the cymbals, we've got Peisty 2002 Big Beat 16-inch hi-hats. And then in stereo, because they're exactly the same, we've got Peisty Masters 20-inch extra thin crashes. And that's the same on the left as it is on the right. And then for our ride, we're actually running a Peisty Formula 602 Modern Essentials 22-inch crash as a ride. But it can do both, which is awesome. For the drums, this is like a hodgepodge Gretsch 78-79 kit. The kick and the floor were together, and then a local shop outside of Nashville, I wish I could remember their name, but they redid the rack tom to match it in this nice satin flame. And then for snare drum, we've got a pork pie pork rub 14 by 6.5 seamless brass. And we put die-cast hoops on this. And then what else do we have, Danny? Ooh, we've got a block for our side stick of doom. So regular side stick without the block, side stick with the block. I haven't asked Danny if he likes it, but hopefully he does.
Oh, I love it. It's awesome.
And then over here, I bought this cowbell from PASIC in Indianapolis when I was 12. Thanks, Dad. So we're using it out here just for a couple drum intros. And then we've got, for drumsticks, we've got these Wincent 5B XLs. And they were nice enough to put my logo on for these. Actually, let's show them the percussion setup, because nobody ever talks about it. This is a Stanton Moore Pandero. I think this is just a 12-inch Pandero. It's actually missing a couple lugs. But we're mic'd real close underneath, and Danny will get to talk about that in a second. And then we've got a Sonar, it's like a jungle snare, I think it's called. Had it a long time, but this whole rig can fit in a backpack, so it's great for flying. And we just have a set of brushes over here that we play with that. And that's for 2 songs during the acoustic set, and that's it. I think that covers drums, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
You want to talk about some microphones?
Oh, you're gonna let me?
Actually, I forgot a very important piece of the puzzle, which is Remo drum heads. We've got smooth white emperors on the tops of the toms, clear ambassadors on the bottoms, coated Emperor X on the top of the snare, and Ambassador Hazy on the bottom, with pearl C-type snare wires, which are my favorite. And then we've got a clear P3 with a dot on the batter side of the kick, and a P3 fiber skin on the Rezo head, which is a logo head. And that covers drum heads. Yeah.
Okay, here you go.
There
Hi.
it is. Hi.
I'm Danny. So we're very lucky to have a great relationship with SE Electronics, and they've been very kind to us, and their microphones sound incredible and make my day out at front of house incredibly easy. So the most important microphone on the entire stage is Cameron's talkback microphone right here, which is the incredible V-Beat. because he's running the show and he's driving the train or whatever you call that. And then on snare drum we have the SE Electronics V7X, which is my favorite snare top microphone. I've been using for probably the last 4 or 5 years now, because it rejects hi-hat better than any other snare microphone I've ever used. I find that, it's not like a perfect zero hi-hat situation, but the amount of hi-hat that does get in is minimal, and what does get in is dark enough that when I add a ton of top end to a snare top microphone, it doesn't get harsh, and you don't get this horrible 4K spiky hi-hat sound. On the bottom of the snare, we have another V7X, and that is pointed at our wires, and pretty much equidistant from the bottom head as the top head is to the top snare mic. Those get grouped together and treated as a instrument out of front of house, which is awesome. That same capsule in a short version is what this the V-Beat is on the toms. So we have one of those on each tom. We've placed the rack tom microphone where it is, because it is super cardioid. So we're trying to point the null between Cameron's two cymbals. Originally, I would typically just go straight on with it, but we found we had better rejection when it was kind of pointing between cymbals rather than at the underside of that crash. So we do the best we can with that. Hi-hat, we have the SE8, which to me is the most natural sounding hi-hat microphone I've ever used. I love the way that it sounds. I don't feel the need to scoop out a ton of harsh upper mid-range or anything like that. And it can get really close to a hi-hat without sounding like something else. It actually sounds like a hi-hat. For overheads, we have the RN17s. We have a stereo pair of those. Absolutely my favorite overheads I've ever used. Yeah. Cameron loves them. Every drummer that I've ever used them with has immediately gone, oh man. I love them so much. Placed where they are, I don't find the need to have a ride mic at this time. These overhead microphones are so incredibly fast, and their transients are so clean and clear, that the stick definition is incredible. And also, again, just like the SE8, things that are slightly off axis still sound incredibly natural. A lot of times I worry with an overhead being kind of in a strange spot or close to a crash. Sometimes you get that weird kind of wash thing that comes off of cymbals, but we don't have that problem with these microphones. Let's get around to kick drum.
Yeah.
So, in the kick, we have the brand new SE Electronics BL8, which is mounted on a Kelly shoe. We can always add a photo of that later, possibly. That microphone, I believe, is set flat. It has a couple settings on it that are awesome, but we're just using it flat. I think that microphone is going to kill kick out for people. It sounds so incredibly natural, but not like you have to now do a bunch of work to make it sound done and processed. It sounds like what you want it to sound like, but not too much of one thing or another. I really think that microphone is going to change the way that people do things. We still, for now, have a kick out microphone, and we're using the SE Electronics VKick. And you can see our settings down there, which are modern low end and classic high end. So we're kind of keeping it from getting too pointy, but keeping some of that low mid controlled. And we have that attached to the drum with this DW or PDP claw setup that was recommended to us from our friend Greg, who plays with the incredible Drew Parker.
Yeah.
And then let's see. Lastly, Perk. We have just another set of the my favorite mic, the V-Beats. They're so small and so wonderful sounding. I've been told before that somebody thought this was an electronic drum because of the amount of low end that we were able to get out of it. So we're miking it super close, maybe 3 fingers away, and we're using that proximity effect of the V beat to the drum to get a nice full kick drum sound, basically. I scoop a little bit of the mid-range just for taste, and it sounds huge. When we do acoustic sections, it still sounds just as big and just as full as full band. Yeah, that pretty much does it for drums. We're absolutely loving all of this stuff that we have out, and we've been out on the road with it, and some of these microphones have been with us, been with me for a couple of years now, and they are holding up incredibly. They get thrown around, they get thrown at a Pelican, and they get thrown in a trailer, and that trailer bounces up and down the road thousands of miles at a time, and they've been incredible. So yeah, that's the audio portion. Thanks, guys.
We really did it.